Game 6, and it's over. St. Louis wins this one. They win the series 4-2. They beat the Sharks 5-1 in this game. It didn't necessarily feel like a 5-1 game, but that's it. They're going on. And let's step back for a moment, though. Let's talk about going into the game. Karlsson, Hertl, and Pavelski didn't play. They were scratches. Karlsson, obviously, because of his groin for San Jose. Hertl, I want to say, got an elbow to the head. And Pavelski, we're not sure if it was an elbow to the head or a lower body injury or what, but we knew, obviously, he had lingering concussion symptoms. There, yay, I said it. From the Vegas series, obviously, he missed most of the Colorado series. And yeah, here's some little facts about the Sharks when facing elimination in the 2019 playoffs. They had a 4-0 record. They had 15 goals for, 9 goals against, had a power play of just under 30%, and a PK, penalty kill, of 80%. So there was a chance here. So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, no, there's no chance for. Those are 3 key players San Jose's missing. Hertl wasn't even scoring in this series too, and Pavelski, you could say somewhat the same thing about him. I think he only had 1 game. He was definitely feeling upper body injury symptoms from the Vegas series. Now, one of the key things that had to change for the Sharks, especially in order for them to win this game, was depth scoring, and they weren't getting it. Whereas in the previous 2 series they were. And I'm talking about LeBlanc, Amir, and Kane. Kane hasn't really been scoring all playoff long. And yeah, none of those guys got on the board today. And look, San Jose didn't win the game. So, little side note here, too. There was a severe weather warning in St. Louis. They had actually asked a lot of the people to get to the arena early, and mentioned that they might get stuck there for a little while after the game finished. They said they might be expecting hail the size of golf balls. So, yeah, it looked pretty dark and gloomy for St. Louis during that game. But hey, your team just punched their ticket into the Western Conference Finals. You get stuck for an extra hour. Hell, just pick up another beer. Who cares? Celebrate. Now, on January 2nd, as some of you, or maybe even most of you may remember, St. Louis Blues were last in the league during the regular season. And now it'll be the first time to the Stanley Cup Finals since 1970. This is a big one. And the last time they were in the Western Conference Finals, they got ousted by the San Jose Sharks. So a little bit of irony there. A little bit of payback, however you'd like to phrase it. Let's talk about the scoring. First period. All right. Now, the play is going back and forth a lot in the first, but St. Louis is definitely getting, the more high danger chances in this. And it pays off for them when Perron gets his first of the game to make it 1-0 for St. Louis. His 6th in the playoffs, assisted by Blais and O'Reilly. A little bit later, one of the refs got injured, pulled a hamstring or something, so they had to replace him. So there was a bit of a delay there. I want to say at least 6 to 10 minutes, somewhere along there. That's why, I don't know if you're watching or keeping track of the score, the game finished a little bit later. Then shortly after that, Tarasenko punches Mir in the face, and there's no penalty called in the play. It was right near the benches. And of course, the next 10 minutes or so of the game is just a lot of reciprocation hits going on between both teams. And another little note here, just after, now that it's 1-0 St. Louis, it's when the commentators mention that since Game 3, during that hand pass goal, St. Louis has outscored San Jose 8-1. Chew on that one. Then it's 2-0 for St. Louis. Tarasenko, yay, he gets on the board. He's got the hot stick now. He's going to need it against Boston, especially with their top-heavy line. Tarasenko's his 8th goal of the playoffs on the power play. It's funny, Tarasenko, right? He just punches Mir in the face, no penalty, and St. Louis gets a penalty. Tarasenko gets the goal. And that was assisted by Peryanko and O'Reilly. O'Reilly getting his 2nd point of the night. And this was a nice snipe, though. This went right over Jones' shoulder. right in between that and the crossbar, obviously, the high short side. And it looked good. It looked like he's getting his hands back. And definitely after that goal, San Jose started to look a little listless, including Martin Jones. Just his body language was off. And during the first intermission, I was watching Sportsnet. They talked about how Sammy Blais of the Blues is second in the playoffs with hits per game. And they also regurgitated the fact that I just mentioned earlier. San Jose wasn't getting any second or third chances on that. They were all perimeter shots, and nothing was too dangerous. We go into the second period. Now, 5 minutes into the second, St. Louis is still getting these high grade A chances. And then San Jose gives up a 3-on-1 because they're starting to gamble here. And Jones makes a terrific save and then gets the puck to Donskoy, who then kind of lobs a pass out to Gambrell. He just snipes it on Binnington. Really nice shot, and it's 2-1. San Jose's got hope. Is something going to happen here? Is this going to be one of those No, it's not. No, that's not going to happen. Was it before or just after this? Sorensen, gets cross-checked hard from behind by Peryenko, and Sorensen looks pretty bad after this. He stays on the ice for a while. He really lumbers to the bench, and he goes into the locker rooms afterwards. I can't even remember if he came back or not. Another misplay, perhaps, by the refs right there. And that's funny, right? Because St. Louis then gets another power play. And Shen gets a goal. Finally, he's been snake bitten for so long in these playoffs. Gets only his second so far in the second season. And that's assisted by Pietrangelo and Thomas. And this was kind of a garbage goal, but who cares, right? It's good for his confidence. You can tell Monkey really came off his back after he put that one in. After that goal, especially, well, I would say more the last 3 or so minutes in the second period, San Jose was on fire. They were really they spent the whole time in the blue zone. They were really peppering Binnington, but nothing came of it. But you're thinking, okay, well, it's 3-1, I know, but you're going into the third period, maybe there's something the Sharks can, and lo and behold, San Jose finally gets a power play. Not even 2 minutes into the third period, but it gets killed, nothing comes of it. That lethal power play they had just did not show up in this series at all. Still, like 6 minutes in, 11 minutes in, it was all San Jose. They really continued to pressure. They just didn't lie down and die, even though they were down 3-1. Couture got a breakaway. He just couldn't put it past Binnington. And then St. Louis makes it 4-1. Bozak gets his fifth of the playoffs, assisted by Perron, who gets his second point of the night, and O'Reilly, who now has 3 points of the night. All 3 non-primary assists. Now this one, Bozak was actually trying to get the puck, was trying to seam pass across the crease to O'Reilly. Sorry, a couple of water burps there. Bozak tries to pass it to O'Reilly, and it goes off Nyquist's stick and into his own net. And it's that kind of night for San Jose. It's 4-1, and at this point, the St. Louis fans they stay standing. They don't sit back down. They're up for the rest of the game, cheering them on. San Jose pulls their goalie. What the hell? And did I just say a 4-letter word on YouTube? And Barbashev, they get into the Sharks zone. Barbashev tries to get this. He gives it to Sundqvist, so he can score an empty net goal. But Sundqvist misses the net. Barbashev gets it back, puts it in himself, gets a second of the playoffs, and that was it. And the place really exploded. And Greg Berube did something kind of interesting, the coach of the St. Louis Blues, for the last shift of the game. He puts on Perron, O'Reilly, and Bozak. Does anyone know what those 3 guys might have in common? Anyone? Fry? All 3 of those guys were picked up this past offseason. Perron making his third round trip as a winger, coming back from most recently the Vegas Golden Knights, and the 2 centers, Bozak, who they signed as a UFA, coming off from 8 or 9 years from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was playing second or third line center there. And then, of course, O'Reilly, who they got in the trade with Buffalo Sabres. And there you have it. So that was kind of a nice little, thank you. Because they all three of them had a really good game. And all three of them were in on that fourth goal. Team stats. Faceoffs were 30-24 for the Blues. Power play the Blues were 2 for 2. They're going to need a hot power play going against Boston. It can't be running on fumes. It's got to be going hard. Because Boston is a special teams monster in the playoffs so far. San Jose is 0 for 1 on their power play. Hits were 31-26 for the Sharks. Giveaways were 9-4 for the Blues. Takeaways 12-6 for St. Louis. And block shots were 13-11 for the Blues. Shots, first period, were 9-7 for San Jose. Second, 9-7 for the Blues. Third, 10-3 for San Jose. And overall, it was 26-19 for the Sharks. The goalies in this game, Binnington, of course, gets the win, saves 25-26. He has a .962 save percentage in this one. He's now 12-7 in the playoffs. Martin Jones finishes off the playoffs. In this game, he saved 14 of 18. Ends up with a .778 save percentage on the night, and he's 10-9 in the playoffs. Penalties. In the first period, San Jose took one. The second, they took another one. Third, it was St. Louis's turn, and the total was 2-1 for the Sharks in that category. The 3 stars of the night, Binnington gets the first one with a .962 save percentage. Perron gets a goal and assist with a second star. He also has a +2 and 18-21 of ice time. Paryenko, who's just been wonderful all playoff long, especially in this series, has an assist. He's a +1 with 26-41 of ice time. O'Reilly, who has 3 points, ironically, does not get a star. But again, those were all not primary assists. So, whatever. And in closing, I think I found myself rooting a bit for San Jose in this one because of Joe Thornton, wanting to see him win a cup. Will he sign up again for another year and take another whack at it or not? That'll be interesting to see how that develops. They also have to think of Pavelski. Are they going to re-sign him? He's at the end of his contract. He's 35 years old. And then Martin Jones. What Martin Jones are we going to see next season? Is he going to be back to his usual form? Because, it's hard to blame him on any of the goals in this game, but he did teeter off a little bit towards the end against St. Louis here, and he only found his legs in the playoffs overall in the year, really, until towards the end of the Vegas series in round 1. So yeah, the St. Louis Blues, hey, what can you say? This is 1970, and against the Bruins, again. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about this game, about this whole series, really, and hit that like button if you like this video. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hey, if you happen to have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.